Greetings, my name is Ted Hicks. I'm the Chief Investment Officer for Hicks Associates Wealth Management. Today is Thursday, June 29th, 2023. And as we approach the Independence Day weekend, I'm going to show you a funny video from this past weekend with my daughter. I think you'll find it humorous, and it's certainly appropriate, as you'll see, given the approaching holiday. But first, let's talk some economic data. On the screen right now, you see the gross domestic product, and we want to show you that the last quarter GDP was up positive. It was positive 1.3%. The prior quarter, in other words, the last quarter of 2022, GDP was positive about 2.6. Keep that in mind. Next, we're going to take a look at Atlanta Fed and what they call GDP Now. Their GDP Now tool is kind of a forecasting. It's kind of showing the average American, you and me, what does the Atlanta Fed think GDP is going to be for the current quarter. And we want to zero in on that estimate, and you can see that what they're saying is, as of 2 days ago, the Atlanta Federal Reserve is estimating that second quarter GDP will be positive 1.8. Now, if we go back to what we were just showing you, the first quarter of this year, GDP was 1.3. Final quarter of 2022, GDP was about 2.6. So if the current quarter we see economic growth of 1.8%, that would be actually an expansion over the first quarter of the year. Regardless, what we would tell you is we do not believe, there's not a lot of evidence to suggest that we are in a robust, thriving economy. Matter of fact, there continues to be a loud cry of a upcoming recession. Whilst we still don't see it, there are danger signs, and we're not going to go into all those details right now, but we agree that there are definitely concerns in the economy. However, we want to share some good news because we don't want to be constantly sharing nothing but bad news. So here we have the consumer debt service payments as a percent of disposable income. This is basically credit card payments. What percent of disposable income is the average American spending on their credit card payments? And you can see the data says that just recently this has ticked back down. I would argue that's good news. In addition, this peak of right here is lower than the pre-pandemic level. So it's less good news, but still good news. But even better news is when we look at the total household obligations ratio, which is now on the screen. This data also has ticked down a little bit in the most recent update. In addition, this small peak here is well below the pre-pandemic level. And in addition, this pre-pandemic level is historically very, very low. So when we look at this data suggests to us that the average American consumer is in relatively good shape financially. One bit of concerning news is this is the delinquency rate on consumer debt, in other words, credit cards. And this one has not yet ticked down. However, we're still not at pre-pandemic levels. And again, this is a percent, so 2.4% of credit card holders are defaulting. And so, again, that's a fairly low statistic. And again, if you look at it, the data going back all the way to 1991, we are still at fairly low levels. The rate of change is a bit of a concern here, but the level is not. Obviously, we want to see this data tick back down. So that's some good news in the overall economy. We definitely have concerns, and there's still a chance of a recession in the coming months. But again, we wanted to share some good news. And now for the promised funny video that I think you'll appreciate. I've been taking my daughter Savannah to the rodeo for more than 10 years. And there was recently a rodeo on the western side of the state, so I took Savannah and her boyfriend Gabe to that event. And if you've ever been to a rodeo, there's always a cowboy entertainer whose job is to keep the crowd entertained while we're waiting for the next bull rider or bronc rider, etc. And as the show progressed, the cowboy entertainer was deciding to give away the Best Dressed Award. We happened to be sitting fairly close, and his eyes locked in on Gabe because Gabe is wearing an American hat and an American shirt. But as soon as the entertainer announced that he was going to give away the Best Dressed Award, I made my daughter stand up because look at them pants. Those pants take the cake. So my daughter got Best Dressed Award. It was a fun event, and USA indeed. So we hope you enjoy a happy and safe Independence Day. We thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Gabriel.
God bless America. Listen, y'all, sometimes it's about cowboy wear, sometimes it's about, hold this up in the air, sometimes it's about USA and Moonlight. Come on, y'all, give it up!